Good afternoon. I'm Peggy Hurson.
I'm Scott Clark.
And we are coming to you from the coffee shop. Today we're actually in Panera Bread, which my brother called Panera Bread.
Panera Bread. Oh, that's good.
Which would be a much cooler place.
Yeah, it would be, yeah. Every table got a bottle of Jack Daniels.
Totally. And bread.
And bread. So this is Rick Entrop. That's the new voice that you hear.
Hello from the coffee shop listeners.
Yay!
Yeah.
Rick is my brother. And he's joining us today.
He's got a wicked beard.
It's true.
It's cool.
It's got all these, like, almost Dr. Seuss-looking white hairs that, like, stick out in fun ways.
It's in the shape of the Surgeon General. Remember the old Surgeon General in the 80s and 90s?
Oh, yeah.
He just had I think his last name was Kellogg or something like that.
Yep.
But, yeah, and he had it's just like a sailor, like a sailor beard.
Nice.
No mustache, it's beard.
Well, there's this guy on Grease Monkeys that has this big 5-gallon bucket-looking thing hanging off his chin that I've been emulating.
Oh, yeah, like Fast and Loud. Yeah, that's my favorite show. That's
nice.
I'm a.
Rick has always had good facial hair. Like, for a while, you had that one that was kind of like just a circle coming straight off the chin.
Yeah.
That was
Like
very
a Pharaoh
like
tube?
I've had
almost
just the
like-
goatee without the soul
yeah,
part.
but it looked almost like Kid and Play, you know, the one with the hair. Only if you put it coming off the chin. Like, it was
that
very
inspiration
geometric.
was one of the guitarists for Anthrax.
Oh,
He
okay.
had just a huge
Scott
rat's
somewhere.
tail. Yeah.
That guy. I'm an
loved
Anthrax
his-
fan too.
Are you?
Yeah, I don't really know all their names, but I know that his name is Scott
Right
because
on.
my name's Scott.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And
Yeah.
before last night, I had the mustache, but that was sort
Yeah.
of I can't stand hair on my upper lip.
But with
Yeah.
this shape of a beard, it's good with no mustache. Because there's so much going on. If you had a mustache too, I feel like you'd just be like hair face.
Well, now we need to get a video
I know.
camera in so we know what people are talking about.
We'll take a picture. It will
we
be with the podcast so people can.
I grew a
examine.
beard. I think I grew my first full beard in like 8 or 10 years, and that was last winter. And I looked like a guy from The Deadliest Catch. I just it wasn't. It doesn't get bushy like yours. It wasn't out. It was just mine gets really tight napped in my face. It just it's almost like the old GI Joe dolls. You remember those?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it had the
Totally.
peach, it had the fuzz,
Nice.
or the felt that was glued to their faces.
Totally.
Yeah, that's what it's like.
My beard is like luxurious and actually my best Halloween costume of all time
Strokes it.
was Sexy Gimli. Gimli, of course, being
Nice.
the dwarf from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Because my friend
cool.
Ryan made a joke that because we were like complaining about the sexy Halloween costumes, and he was like, "You should be like the unsexiest sexy costume," and I was like, "Well, what would it be?" And he's like, Gimli from Lord of the Rings.
You know-
So I got the beard with the braids, and I did my hair like all frizzed out, and had the helmet, and then had like a really low cut like short skirt and like stripper heels on, and had the big axe. And like nobody had any idea. They were like, "Are you like a bearded warrior princess?" And I was like, "Yeah, pretty much."
Close enough.
But having the beard was so funny to me.
But
just
every
'cause-
reaction was confused, weren't they? They were
Oh,
like, I
people
don't
were
know what
just
to
like,
think right now.
cool costume? Like, they didn't get it at all. So, which was sort of the
No, I think-
purpose. It's confused.
It's not
and
the
upset
fact that they
people.
probably didn't get it. They were just utterly just confused with their own thoughts. It's
Well,
like,
and the next year
I
I
don't
was...
know what I'm supposed to feel right now. I'm a little aroused and a little,
confused.
Yeah.
The next year I wore it to work as business casual Gimli,
Nice.
which was like a button-up shirt and tie and
Oh, that would've
jeans,
been cool.
and then the
fun.
beard and helmet,
Right on.
which I thought was really funny.
Another,
and then
another
the
level
next...
to the I don't know what to.
I was
take
planning the next year going always a bridesmaid, never a bride Gimli, and wearing like a bridesmaid's dress.
Oh, nice.
You had a whole theme running
There we
there.
go.
You
Yeah.
could probably even make your own costume shop and just
on.
rent them out.
Yeah.
But the beard got a little,
Gimli
uh,
calendar.
Oh my gosh, I want to do a Gimli calendar
Nice.
now. I gotta get a new beard though, because the beard got really disheveled over the years and I threw it out.
Yeah.
It was a child's beard though. Anyway.
Speaking of beards and Halloween costumes, my idea was spider claws one year. You take a Spider-Man outfit and Santa Claus's gear and kind of mesh them into one.
So it's Spider-Man dressed as Santa Claus, or is it
vice versa, somewhere between those two. I had the beard, had the belly, just nicely in a Spider-Man costume and a Santa hat.
Works for me.
I like it. That's a good hybrid. I think it works.
Well, and Spider Claus,
Totally.
And everybody loves everybody loves Santa Claus. Everybody loves Spider-Man.
It's like putting ice cream on pizza.
Totally. Nice. Well, Rick is so I should do a little bit of an intro on Rick. Rick's my brother, obviously. He lives in Woodinville, which is fantastic. He saved my life when I moved to Seattle by letting me live with him for the summer, which was so fun.
It was, and there's no.
And we played more board games than is reasonable for people to play. And
they still make those?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we liked.
Or is there an app for that now?
Well, pretty much. Our favorite is Rummy Cube.
Yeah, which we've bought since then because we liked it so much.
Yeah, and it's my all-time favorite game.
Yeah.
I just think it's fun. It's like Rummy, but with little domino kind of things. So you do. It's like strategic but not so difficult that you can't have like booze while you're playing it.
Right.
Which I feel is the mark of a good board game. Because if you can't have a couple cocktails and still know what's going on in the game, then it's too complicated.
Oh, right. Yeah. You just get one beer. Oh, I'm lost.
I know.
Gotta quit now. Bye.
I have played games like that with people who I was like, you are now too intoxicated to play this game, and we're still playing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Rick is an artist and a musician and a generally cool person, so anyway.
A musician, is there a specific instrument you play?
No, I like more the composition sort of. Well, right now, I guess more specifically, I'm focusing on sound engineering, like figuring out how to make synthesized sounds.
Okay.
But before that, it was composition and just music in general. I can play if I memorize something. I never got to the ability where I could just like sheet read, like type,
Right. It's everything by ear.
Yeah. I'm a lot more by ear. I'll remember a tune.
And Rick did our intro music.
Oh,
I like it actually.
Yeah, totally.
Well, thanks. I liked that you added the hidden track at the end there.
Oh, the fart noise.
Yeah. Well,
it was funny too because I listened to like most of the thing and I was like, "Oh, this is really cool, thanks." And then when I was going to cut it in, I noticed the part and I was like, "Oh, you totally got me."
I actually had that playing on my stereo at home, and I thought it was my son
Nice.
farting.
Right on.
Vegan. Oh man.
Yeah. So I don't know. It was an afterthought. I thought it was funny.
It is
cool.
funny.
It was a nice little exclamation point at the end of the podcast.
I enjoy it, definitely.
Yeah.
And Rick does, graphic design and painting and animation and 3D stuff and like is sort of if there's something creative and you need a person, he can figure out whatever it is,
Thanks.
That's how I think of you.
Yeah, it's one of those, I wish I could do everything if there was just the time to do it. Mm-hmm. And it's sort of been to my downfall, too, because I'm more of a generalist in a lot of things and not really hyper excellent at anything, but I don't know.
Well, and he has really, that's a high bar to me. As a lay person looking at like the things that he does, he goes, "Oh, well, there's so many problems with this," and I'm like, I don't know, that's pretty awesome.
Right. I don't draw any. Well, I do draw, but I haven't in a long time, and I'm the same way. I'll look at something and somebody will go, "Oh, that's amazing," and I go, "Oh, it sucks," or not sucks, but I'll be like, "It's just." I'm not extremely happy with it, but somebody else will come and look at it and go, and I'll notice the perspective is off, or the field isn't as deep as I wanted it, or something like that, and they'll look at him and say, "God, I can't do that." So it's amazing to me. I'm like, yeah, and then I get modest about it. Like I could sense your modesty too. It's just, it's like, well, I'm okay. I mean,
but I think that's just because we're as artists aware of what's out there, and so when we see other things that clearly are, that person just has more skill or more whatever happened for that person to. It's not that we're envious of it. It's just we've now seen how high that bar is. So, I mean, my wife's a hairdresser, and she kind of has the same thing where all these, all our customers think she's just the best hairdresser in the world. But you talk to her, and she's like, no, very humble, very. Yeah. But she's exposed to all the amazing hairdressers, so she has that context to put it in.
Yeah. Plus, so we're averaging you based on people who don't do art, and you're averaging you based on people who are professional. On the people who we look up to, all the way up to Michelangelo, I'm sure.
Yeah. To a degree.
Yeah. When I was in high school, I studied a little bit of MC Escher, and then also I fell in love with Todd McFarlane.
Oh yeah,
I met the guy, by the way.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah,
awesome.
He used to own. Him and his brother-in-law used to own a comic shop in Puyallup.
Nice.
And I went in there, and the guy just wanted to talk about hockey.
Yeah, he's a big Oilers.
I don't even know who this is. Who is this person?
Spider-Man, Spawn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Spawn. Yeah, that's fine. I can tell you're a fan.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, and he's actually from Vancouver Island.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, but I actually have a set of football cards he brought back from the East Coast, and they were a prototype. They were only in 3 teams. It was the Washington Redskins, the New York Giants, and the Chicago Bears, I want to say. 3 teams, and they were action packs, I call them. They're the first foil packs. I don't know if you remember those.
Yeah.
I can't unload those things for nothing. They're like, it's like a lead... it's like a lead shoe. I just drag it along with me everywhere. And nobody wants them because they're so fragile and delicate. You just you bend them and they're done. It's like they can't even, they're not flexible, and they're.
Are they the kind of thing you might put in lucite? You know what I mean? Like in those little.
Oh, like
I'm picturing like a baseball card, right? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's a printing process that makes them really metallic-y or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because you know how they have those little lucite cases for the really high cost ones?
Right, and you can't actually put them in there because they're embossed, and so if you put them in there, they smash them down and it
ruins them.
Right. So it's more like they're in 3-dimensional.
Yeah.
So I mean, you probably could.
Relief.
Yeah, I mean, they're really cool. He talked me into buying a complete set. I think I have a complete set. And I got them for a song. I didn't pay a whole lot of money. Yeah. This is back in 91 or something, right when Spider-Man he was just beginning his new series of Spider-Man.
Sure.
And I fell into that trap too. I fell into the bagged, unbagged, signed, unsigned, the different color covers. I probably spent $400 in various number 1 issues.
Crazy.
But they're all, the one that's worth the most, nobody can get. That's what makes it worth the most. Because you can't get it. Everything else is readily available.
Totally.
If I go to a convention or something, the guy goes, I got a box of them in the back. I got the same exact one. So what you spent $4 on in 1990, I can give you for 35 cents. Right now. So
that sucks.
Yeah.
It's like I had a friend in Chicago who was one of the thousands and thousands of people who fell into the Beanie Baby craze. And when we were about done with grad school, she was trying to donate her Beanie Baby collection to some kind of charity because she was like, I have boxes and boxes and boxes of Beanie Babies. And they're all in great condition because we thought they were going to be worth tons of money. And she couldn't even find a place to donate them to.
Yeah, because there was actually a podcast I listened to. And they were talking about that family in New York, blew their entire life savings on Beanie Babies, $100,000 on Beanie Babies, and on the speculation that because they said
they were going to increase in value, totally. Because there was a moment where the one limited edition one you could sell for $100 or whatever, but
that was such a made up market. It was there wasn't the only thing that was limited edition about it was its name,
right?
It was a limited edition, but there was nothing else limited edition about it. There was masses of them out there.
Yeah.
And because they created that limited edition, it created a, what do you call that? A
forced commodity. Yeah.
Right.
Bubble.
Right.
if you will.
Or a false rare.
Well, the same thing happens with diamonds, which is that there's there are people out there who control the distribution of diamonds, and so the price is based on how many diamonds are in the market. But there are places in the world you can go walk down the street and pick up handfuls of uncut diamonds that are just like in the world,
right?
But the reason they're supposedly rare is that they control the distribution of them.
Yeah, it's artificially inflated. That's
totally.
what I was thinking of. Yeah. Artificial inflation on that.
For sure.
So I fell into that with the but I do have my one prized possession is Spider-Man number 300. Ooh. And it's the end of the black suit, and it's the introduction of not Spawn, but Venom.
Venom,
okay.
Nice.
Yeah, that's Venom. A nice one. That was a good time for Spider-Man.
Yeah. And I actually just stumbled across that. I just happened to walk in the store, and there it was. And
crazy.
And I brought it, and then I got it signed. I actually have it personally signed by Todd McFarlane. So I'm actually that's the one I don't ever want to get rid of.
You're sitting on, yeah.
I have a friend Paul who's got some actual boards that he's done with his pencils and his inks. You can see all the blue lines on there.
Oh man, I love
that's cool.
He's a big Todd McFarlane fan too.
Yeah, and he's one thing I did like about him when I first met him is like he was just like, yeah, I'm okay. I do all right. You know, and I'm like,
well, again,
but he compares himself to the greats that came before him. Mm-hmm. But even though he's actually considered he reformatted the comic book.
Oh yeah. He's the one that started the spaghetti-looking web.
Right, and he would also he'd also take because they were all celled. You know, you had panels. Per page, and and it had a format. You had to do a certain format, and he's the one that just said, "Oh, we're going to throw that out the window, and we're going to take it, and we're going to get rid of the walls. We're going to actually have them bleed into other panels."
Oh, that's cool.
And he would turn it like
sometimes they have
exactly
like a diagonal line, and then there's a different one in the circle in the center, and
and a lot of times he would get rid of all of that, and it would just be a mush on the page, but it would flow in a way where it would actually add to the story.
Right on.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
I'm a geek all of a sudden. I'm
you are super geeking out. I'm embarrassed to be here now.
Yeah.
You know, comic books are the one thing that I consider myself to be a high-class nerd, but I don't think I've ever read a comic book. I love comic book derived narratives because I think they tend to be more visually interesting. So when they become movies, they have more of a stylistic thing that I think is really cool. Yeah. But even stuff like,
have you read any graphic novels?
No, see, I don't. I've tried to, but there's something about reading them that my mind wanders and I get confused and I don't know. So that's my deficit in my nerddom is the comic books.
Can I recommend a graphic novel that's turned into an amazing cartoon?
Yes.
Batman, I think it's Dark Knight Returns.
Oh,
the cartoon for that.
Is it good?
Amazing.
I want to watch that movie. And I've only read the comic book, but I never owned it.
They hold true to the graphic novel impeccably, and it's just awesome. And
what channel is it on?
It's on DVD. DC Comics puts it out.
Cool.
It's on video on demand. It's actually a 2-part, right?
Yeah. Two discs. I think Frank Miller did the original. Is it Frank Miller?
Frank Miller,
Yeah. He did the original graphic
He's actually the
novel
one that before Frank Miller was around, Batman was this. He was a daylight superhero,
right?
And he would, and he'd have he'd have the smile on his face while he's hitting somebody.
And it had sort of that 1950s sensibility of I'm going to save everyone.
Violence makes me smile.
Rich, totally.
I just stole that from another podcast.
Violence makes me smile.
Yeah, and then
it does make me smile. Not literal violence, but movies where
it's happening to me.
We were just talking about Django Unchained before, Scott and someone who won't be named, who's not really here. Kanita came in. Rick and I were talking about the Django Unchained and how it's just violence beginning to end.
I actually haven't seen it.
Yeah, he hasn't seen it. I was recommending it,
seen it either.
And I sat there with grin from ear to ear, watching people get murdered.
Quentin does a wonderful job.
It's so joyous. Yeah.
Yeah, he does do the violence very well.
It's crazy. Anyway,
Shoot 'em Up was a neat one.
Shoot 'em Up's a great one.
If you've seen
with Clive Owen and Paul Giamatti.
Have you seen Shoot 'em Up?
I think I have seen.
Where it starts out with the birth of a child, and they get in a shooting battle, and
and he
pulls the baby
it's a
up.
spoof, really.
Isn't he always eating the carrot? Like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so
Oh,
I've seen him.
movie's the best.
Yeah, it's really funny.
It's very
Over the top.
Oh, yeah.
Sin City style.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I liked Sin City.
And
Giovanni. Wait, no.
Paul Giamatti.
Paul Giamatti.
Yeah.
He's in
He's
it.
great. I just rewatched Man on the Moon for the billionth time this week, which is the Andy Kaufman movie
right.
with Jim
Okay,
Carrey,
yeah,
which
yeah.
I think is brilliantly
seen
done.
it. Yeah.
You should watch it. It's on Netflix.
Okay,
But Paul Giamatti plays Andy Kaufman's writer friend, and he is just so
yeah,
good
yeah.
in it. Like they trade off being Tony Clifton, so to try to like create the guys that Tony Clifton is, not Andy Kaufman. Every
Right,
once in a while,
right,
Paul
yeah.
Giamatti is Tony Clifton.
Nice.
And
Nice.
anyway,
I like that guy because he can play a range of actors, including the comedic role, and then also the bad guy.
Oh, yeah,
he's a
totally.
great bad guy.
yeah, he's an excellent actor.
I liked him in Planet of the Apes.
I'm trying to remember
He was in
which
there.
was that the Mark Wahlberg version?
Yeah.
I haven't watched that in forever. I actually was like one of the few people who liked that movie.
He
It
was
was all
Dr.
right. It was all right.
I
It wasn't-
liked
Got
it.
terrible reviews, but I like any Planet.
I mean, the
of
story
Apes.
was kind of throwaway, but I thought the visuals and sort of the
Yeah.
underlying tone of it was great.
Yeah.
I have a friend who is in that movie. Her name's Andrea.
Oh.
At the very beginning, she is like, I don't even think she has any lines, but they're piloting a plane, and Mark Wahlberg's one of the pilots, and she's the woman sitting in the seat next to him.
Oh, so
Anyway.
she's an extra.
Was she accredited?
No, she is credited.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
but I think she
maybe-
had lines that were cut out. Or maybe
Oh.
she says like one or two things, but she was actually cast in that movie.
Oh,
But
cool.
she's a professional actress.
Nice.
Who was in a movie I did costumes for.
She'd
many
have to
years
be
ago.
if she's in Planet of the Apes.
It's true, and she did a commercial for, I want to say it was like a really embarrassing pharmaceutical commercial that I saw
one
her
of
in, and I
those,
was like,
huh?
Andrea.
Was she not feeling so fresh that day?
No, I think not. She does a whole bunch of cool stuff. There are people that I've met throughout my life that I go, oh, that person. Oh, like, for example, there are these improvisers in Chicago named TJ and Dave who do a show called TJ and Dave. It's TJ Jagodowski and Dave Pasquazi. And, like, they are, like, geniuses. And I've met them several times.
I think
but
I've
they
seen
are,
a YouTube channel.
Oh, they are, in the improv world, they are Jesus and God. And I was watching The Ice Harvest with John Cusack and Billy Bob Thornton, and TJ and Dave were in it. And I was like, it's TJ! It's Dave! And I was
Nice.
like, oh, I love them. They're so cute! And it was in 2005, but they look so young.
Yeah.
It was only like 6 or 7, well, now it's 2013,
Yeah,
so what, 7
8
years
years
ago?
ago.
8 years ago.
Seems
And
like
they probably
yesterday.
shot it in 2004, so anyway. So there's like people that I've I've brushed up against, and then I see them in things and get really happy.
Nice.
That is cool.
Yeah, it's fun for me. It makes me feel a little special that I'm like, oh, I know him. Oh, I hung out with him one time.
It's kind of
happy.
nice to have that. Just to say you know that person.
Yeah.
It's like, just you see me light up when I say I met Todd McFarlane.
I
And
know,
I don't really know
totally.
that guy, but I just
Yeah.
I was speaking of which, a little pseudo celebrity. We had my neighbors won a contest.
Oh, yeah.
And today they got their winnings. And
They're winning.
well, what it was is that the Budweiser they entered a contest with Budweiser, and they brought the team of horses through, and
Okay.
they gave this replica chest of beer, and
That's all ceremonial.
Still weird.
right, and they and it had a bunch of swag in there and stuff,
Right on.
including a gift certificate, so they could go buy beer because in Washington State they can't give away beer.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, so
Huh.
they had that, and then they had hats. I got a hat, which
Cool.
I probably won't ever wear again because I like wear hats backwards, and it makes me look like a giant bald spot right there.
Oh, nice.
It just highlights this area right here, and it
It's
looks
true.
like I'm like, whoa. My hair's back here, but it makes it look like I have a bald head. It really
Mm-hmm.
does. I mean, I am balding, but I'm actually one haircut away from just shaving it all off.
Are you?
Yeah.
Your hair is so blonde anyway that I feel like you'd look exactly the same. You know what I mean?
It'd be peachier probably looking.
Yeah.
I'd get sunburnt and it'd turn I'd look like a tomato
yeah.
for a second, and then I'd
tomato for a second.
I've actually written off hats for just that reason. It's like when I used to wear hats, because I wore them all the time, and I'd take them off and I'd see like 900 hairs sitting in the bill. So I'm like, I wonder if that means this is why I'm going to be losing hair. So about 3 years ago, I just stopped wearing hats.
The hats don't really make your hair fall out. They just collect what's falling out. That's why you see it.
Okay.
It's just evidence.
Your hair doesn't seem like it's thinning too much, though.
Must be working.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, that's what Adam Carolla always says, that he and his friend Donnie from childhood, they don't use shampoo. And their reasoning is, you never see a bald homeless guy. And I was like, what? And they're like,
that's true, though.
Homeless guys they don't wash their hair, they don't condition it.
And they always have these thick manes of hair, always. And it is outrageously insane looking, but I've never seen them bald.
I know.
Unless they were bald before they went nuts.
Right.
But it's
I've seen a couple of bald homeless guys, but theoretically,
Yeah, even the guy that had that radio voice that he had hair. He wasn't bald.
Well, my argument for hygiene being a little bit BS is that you don't see a lot of homeless people with like food poisoning. And they probably eat lots of food that hasn't been refrigerated properly. So I think we're actually, I think that a lot of the problem with things like food poisoning and allergies and stuff is over-hygienation.
We're not being tempered enough.
Yeah, we don't introduce enough germs into our system regularly, and so when we get one, we all go.
George Carlin had that theory too.
Oh, really?
He talked about swimming in the Hudson River or something. We were tempered in raw sewage.
Totally.
Anyway, sorry.
That's right. I remember that.
When we went overseas for the first time. I'm saying we, as in my family and I, we went over there, and we were told, you just keep yourself really clean, and you won't get sick. And so everywhere we went we use hand sanitizer. And then I started thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I kind of think about that kind of stuff. You have a balance on your skin.
Totally.
I'm not.
That is verifiable through science. Exactly what you're talking about. I just like to state that for the record.
When it says it kills 99.9% of germs, I said, well, it's leaving 0.1% of the strongest behind.
Exactly.
Which is MRSA.
And that's really, like, they have done studies about hand sanitizer, and people who use it have poorer health than people who don't. And I think part of it is that
you're not exposed.
Your flora and fauna is messed up.
Yeah, like your intestines got good and bad bacteria, and it's just a war constantly that happens. And
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm not a germaphobe. I like germs. They're there for a reason. There's good and bad. There's good and bad.
Although
bacteria.
you have to take that with moderation, because I had a friend when I was studying abroad in Ghana who his philosophy was, well, I'm going to be here for a year, so I might as well introduce the local bacteria into my system. And so he did not follow the only eat hot food prepared at the markets, and got like horrible diarrhea for like a month, and then didn't notice that he got malaria about 3 weeks into it. And then he didn't go to the hospital because he thought that the sickness he had was more of the foodborne illness, and then let his malaria go really, really intensely, until when he finally went to the hospital, we had to carry him from his dorm room to the taxi that was taking him to the hospital because his joints had swollen and he couldn't walk.
Oh, no.
And he was like
the knight from the Holy Grail.
He was like narrowly avoiding death. Exactly. He's like, fine. I can't move.
It is but a flesh wound.
He is a total jackass. Like the dumbest person. I was like, are you kidding me?
I think everything is within reason. You don't just jump
moderation.
in. Yeah, right.
Totally. Yeah. Which I found out after I'd been there for about 6 months. I was drinking bottled water at a friend of mine's house who was local, and then I saw his mom one day filling the bottles at the sink, and I was like, oh, we've just been drinking tap water. And then I was like, well, I guess I'm okay for tap water.
Well, we would go down. I mean, I'll drink tap water out of home, but when we were in we just go down, because we didn't drink tap water at a sink, but we'd shower in it. We'd brush our teeth with it.
My issue, if I may interrupt you there, is with the fluoride that's in the water. And that's what I've been kind of concerning myself with lately. In fact, I've switched toothpastes, and I just bought a new toothpaste today. I buy non-fluoride toothpaste.
What is wrong with fluoride? I've heard people who are anti-fluoride. I don't understand, like what the purpose or problem
I haven't done
with it.
scientific studies myself, so it's all hearsay and what I've heard. But evidently, it's basically a rat poison that they introduced to water or something. And I don't know.
Because isn't the reason for it like strengthens the enamel in your teeth or something like
to.
that? That's why they put it in water?
Sure.
That's the lobbyist reason, I bet.
Right, yeah, just do your own research. I'm not going to, perpetuate what others say. That's just my opinion.
That's what we're about right now. Let's perpetuate some...
No, it's interesting because I know there's a lot of people who are really for it and a lot of people who are really against it, and I just kind of shrug and go,
there's no Mythbusters or anything that's done the research on it or anything. I don't know. So I used to chew a lot. And
like
that's
tobacco?
Why tobacco.
Yes.
Right. So if things can get introduced into your system via your gums and stuff, then you're just kind of rushing it into your bloodstream via your gums. That's why I switched toothpaste and won't do the mouthwash.
That's I tried chewing once.
But the next step is going to be getting a water filter that gets rid of the fluoride that they put into the water unnecessarily.
That actually does. It does make. It does. There is an argument there. Why would they sell a filter that actually takes that out?
Maybe. Who knows?
Right.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
And we don't even use our
idea.
own fluoride. We use some low-rate stuff that we buy from Japan or something.
That's crazy.
I'm sure there's all kinds of
fluoride.
Yeah. Something. I don't know.
At the bulk fluoride market.
Yeah, but we sell the good.
That falls under my laissez-faire attitude, which is I have made a conscious decision to not care about what's in tap water across the board too. Like I just drink tap water because I refuse to pay for water. I stamp my fist down, and so whatever's in it, I say, oh well.
You kind of pay for it, just you're not paying any more for it.
Right, exactly. Except I live in an apartment, so I don't pay for my water.
We live in an apartment and pay for our water, and we pay some company in Texas, so it's not even going to the state of Washington. Maybe they might be just a collection thing, but I've compared what we pay to people that have homes, and we pay as much, if not more than people in homes pay.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean it's like $120 a month for our water
that's
bill.
Nuts.
Yeah.
See, mine is folded into my rent, so I don't. I
wait till they don't.
Yeah, totally.
Because it's happening.
Ugh, that sucks. Yeah. So I have a little bit of. Oh wait, before we do that, I was about to go into my thing, but I wanted to get an update on Scott, how you're feeling, and your injury. What's up with you?
I started light duty.
And what is light duty?
Light duty is boring.
Oh.
It's boring. I mean, that's what I feel. Let's back up. Let's catch your brother up to speed. I got in a forklift accident at work about late last month, and it threw my neck out. It bulged 2 discs on my neck. I see you can. And I got to stop doing that too. Yeah, because I'm just supposed to be stretching, and I'll have a tendency to flick my neck, and that really hurts. And
does it affect your driving? Because I know you can't.
Yeah, it does actually. Looking over to my left is really painful. And I was actually out home. The doctor had taken me off the job, and which kind of stressed me out a little bit because I have to maintain 80 hours of work per month to maintain my insurance.
Oh, that sucks. Even if you're like on leave,
well, I just call the union and they give me a waiver. It's FMLA.
Okay. I got
FMLA waiver, and then so I'm sitting at home and I get an unknown phone call and I don't answer unknown. If I don't recognize the number, I just let it go to voicemail because it's usually a telemarketer or a bill collector, and those two
way, not someone you want to talk to.
If they need to get hold of me, they'll leave a message.
Exactly.
That's my attitude. So, and there was a message, and it happened to be my human resources guy saying, "Oh, we're going to offer you. We got your doctor to release you to light duty. We got a position for you. We'd like to offer you a position." I'm like, "Oh, all right. Well, I'm not going to call you right away." and then I got a registered letter in the mail, and I was like, "Oh, well, now I have to call."
Yeah.
And then I just literally when I was reading the letter, I get a phone call from him. "Hey, Andrew, I was just going to call you," and it's like, "Yeah, come on down," which. It's not bad because there's 2 things I really like about it. I get to ride the train to and from work.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that saves money because I figured it out. It's actually going to cost me the same amount of money if I just driven just my normal shift. And it's a regular 8-hour shift. It's no overtime, which I used to be really into overtime when I was younger. Not so much. I'm really about work what I actually, let me take that back. If I really enjoyed what I'm doing, it doesn't matter how much I do. It's like,
it's not work.
Yeah, it's not work.
Exactly. If it's fun, you get paid for.
Right.
Which is the dream.
And so,
it is the dream. That is true.
You're right. Let's do this.
Derail your train there.
So it breaks me down to an 8-hour day, which I get to spend more time with my family, which I really like. And then I get to imagine, get to collect more podcast material.
Yeah.
And because it's really hard to do from inside a warehouse. I mean, I can only talk about warehouse work so much.
I don't know. I think we should have a series that's just Scott talks about warehouse work.
Today.
Warehouse work with
Today,
Scott Clark.
We're going to talk about nature's path. And organic cereals and non-GMOs.
So what kind of are you doing? Like desk work? Is it paperwork and stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's
Paper pusher.
Yeah, I basically help the office staff catch up on their work, and it's just tedious.
Yeah.
Tedious, monotonous.
Do you have to do collecting calls at all, or is it
No,
paper?
I won't. I told them I won't do that. That's not my duty.
Yeah.
That's
good.
That's heavy duty.
stressful.
I hate talking to people on the phone.
I think I might like it.
Well,
I think I might like it
I
just
hate it.
because
It depends on
I
what
don't
it
know
is.
who
It's
you
easy for
are, and
people
it's
to be a
easy for me to.
dick.
Yeah, that's what I like about it. I can. Be
Well,
that
you're
person.
assuming you are the one who's going to be a
Oh,
dick, but
I'm
you're the
wait-
one who's
no.
getting paid for it. So most likely the
can't-
person talking to you is the
No,
one who's
I'm
going to be
looking
a
forward
dick.
for them to be in a dick.
Oh,
Okay. Kind of stretch yourself a little bit,
Yeah.
or kind of see what you're made of in those kind of circumstances.
I was a dick to someone on the phone this week, but anyway, sorry, I don't want to derail
look at
this
it
by
as
going
like-
into
Yeah,
my
no,
being
I just
dick.
look at it. If they put me on the phones, I'd be like, "Oh, please, let me have an adventure today." I'd be like,
gosh.
I want that personality. I don't know. For
Maybe
one,
that's why you're
it's-
not on the phone.
Maybe.
For one, it'd be great content. It would be way more exciting than warehouse work.
Oh, jeez. So
and what-
now you're back at work.
Yeah, I
9
started
to
last
5.
8 to 4:30, but close enough.
Close enough.
And so I get to ride the train back and forth to work, and it's an 8-hour shift. Those are two things I really like about it. And the boring part, I guess I can live with.
Yeah.
But I'm not allowed to listen to anything. Like I can't have my iPod on
that
now.
sucks.
Because if I listen to one, they're all gonna want to listen to one. I was like,
Right.
oh.
Well, then maybe we'd all be less bored at work and maybe
And
not
it's
hate
just-
it as much.
They actually were next to Safeco Field, and that's the property they sold to that developer. And so they moved up onto 6th Avenue, and it's a much nicer building, and it doesn't smell like urine,
Oh,
which
that's
is really
a bonus.
good. Yeah.
Bonus. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
wish
so
my
I guess
job
it's-
didn't smell like urine.
So it's three things I
it
really.
does.
For good reason.
That's another shirt. I wish, and then I wish on the back, and then my job didn't smell like urine on the back. Yeah.
One time, one of my clients pooed in my car.
Oh man.
Worst day of my whole life. It was very sad. He's a very sick man.
Did you rub his nose in it?
No, I
Don't
just
do that here.
sighed and pulled over and made him get out and cleaned it out. But it was one of those days I got home and I was like, like, what am I doing with my life?
Did he drop trowel first?
No, he
How
just
did he?
has some disabilities that make life hard
okay.
for him. And,
Well.
it was through no fault of his own. It was just one of those times that wrong place, wrong time. And it was like, because I was taking him to the hospital. And so it was like, it was just like a bad moment. And
Sneeze or something first?
he was just very, very
We
ill.
have-
It was horrible, though. It was really depressing.
If this is a video cast, you can see my wife laughing hysterically because something similar happened to me,
Oh, no.
and it was actually to me. It wasn't somebody I knew. It was me.
Oh, that you pooed your pants?
I did.
I've pooed my
Oh,
pants
no.
before.
Yeah.
Were you
As an
giving
adult.
birth or no?
You know what? That would have been less than. Actually, that would have been awesome.
Or did you die?
That would have been the optimum outcome was death because it would have been less embarrassing. Because I'm a corpse. I don't care.
I'm a corpse.
It was about. I don't want
I
to say
love
it was
that you're gonna
1994.
tell this
Yeah,
story.
yeah, it's gonna happen. It's
Here we go.
Right
watch.
on, bring it on.
Yeah.
1994, you're
Yeah.
setting the stage.
Yeah, it was about.
Kurt Cobain has just died.
I was on. It was a very sad year. Kurt Cobain died, and I pooed my pants.
Oh man.
No,
Does it get any worse? It was the worst of times.
It was
we
the
had
worst.
taken a day trip down to Cannon Beach with my niece, who was just a baby at the time, and
I
my
love
mom.
Cannon Beach.
Yeah, it was nice, and we stopped on the way at a McDonald's. This is also one of
So
the
wait,
reasons.
how old were you?
Oh, I was in my 20s.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
I was-
an adult story. For
Yeah.
a moment, I thought you were like a kid, even though I was like 15
I don't even think
in
I food my.
1994. Okay.
So we stopped at McDonald's and got breakfast sandwich there, and by the time we got down to Cannon Beach, I had razor blades in my stomach.
Oh,
it was
no.
hurting so
Weird.
bad. I was like, I was not feeling well. And I wasn't, and then, well, it was a week-long vacation. I basically spent it within 4 steps of the John, and
So,
And
tell
I-
me if I'm wrong. Being sick in a or in a hotel is the worst place to be sick ever. Were you in a
well, no,
hotel?
actually, no. We were at home. We
Oh, you were at
we went
home.
down for a day
Oh, I
trip,
see.
and then we came back, and I was sick
Oh,
for
I
the rest
thought
of the
you
week.
were
I was actually
at
off for a
Cannon
week,
Beach sick.
and I was eating Imodium,
Oh, for
I was just eating it, trying to get my stuff to set.
Skittles.
Yeah, pretty much, or Tic Tacs.
There we go.
Sometimes
Yeah,
that
Tic Tacs.
makes it worse too, because then it plugs you up but doesn't fix the problem,
Right.
and then you get like horrible stomach cramps.
Well, I don't know if you guys remember Future Shops and Best.
Oh, yeah.
Best.
Oh, yeah.
And so they were
I remember
having
Best.
Best was going out of business.
I worked at
South,
Best
at
when
South
they
Center
were going
had
out of business.
South Center had it.
It
It's
was
called.
1994.
They had it kind of combined Best Future Shops. They had Best on
Yeah,
one side.
yeah,
and
they were
Future-
transitioning. Kind
Right, and then
Totally.
so I was like, oh, I'm feeling actually kind of regular today, so I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna venture out, and I'm a sun sneezer. I'm a sun sneezer,
yeah.
and I get out of the car and I was like, oh man. And I just I just turn around and I back up against the wall. I was like, yeah. And then Kanita's with me. I was like, you need to go get the car. I rode home in the back seat, perched up on my knees and elbows.
Trying not to infect the car.
Oh, it was bad.
That is
It
a
was
really
bad.
sad story.
But
Yeah.
it happened.
Yeah.
Literally does happen.
Yeah.
Evidently.
Totally.
It's
Well,
that-
I got food poisoning once when our mom was visiting me when I lived in Chicago, and she was staying at a hotel downtown, and it was like January. So I was staying with her, and then I was just taking the train to work every day. And I got food poisoning because I ate a piece of bad fish.
Yeah.
And couldn't leave the hotel because I was so dizzy and just vomiting and vomiting. Like, I tried to leave, and I got on a bus and just immediately got off and threw up in a trash can on Michigan Avenue. But it was horrible because I was stuck in a hotel, and like every morning the maid service would come by, and I'm just like, "Oh, I'm too sick," and they're like banging on the door, and I'm
You
like,
want fresh towel?
"Oh, leave me alone." And
You
then
want me
like
for a pillow?
I wanted them to clean because I had just been throwing up and throwing up and throwing up. It was just horrible, and I probably should have gone to a hospital.
Yeah.
When I think about it, because it was like 5 solid days of vomiting.
That's yeah.
I think I probably had like salmonella or something.
Yeah, you probably got. It wasn't just food poisoning. You got
know.
a bacterial.
But if I could have like moved, I would have gone to a hospital. But the thought of like standing up was so horrible.
head's
that,
throbbing and
it
all your
was
joints are hurting.
the worst. Oh my gosh. Anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah, life is rough.
Yeah, that wasn't the only. I also got sick in Singapore too. But
Oh, nice.
that was a little bit more violent.
Yeah.
It was, and just because we already told one story, I'll say that story.
There we go.
We'll
Stay
spread
tuned.
the poo stories
There we
out
go.
over
All right.
a longer period of time.
We should do shit segments.
There we go. All right. Yeah.
Shit happens where shit
The
is.
logo for that would be like a string of sausages, but it's
Called shooting the
segments.
poop section. Shooting. It's a poop and
Oh
shoot.
my gosh. You guys, we have problems.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to talk about something that I started this week, which is super exciting to me, which is I'm taking boxing lessons.
Wow. Oh.
Yeah, I get this benefit at work where they like, every year they reimburse you a certain amount of money that you spend on fitness expenses.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Which is super cool, and
Yeah.
I'm all about taking full advantage of everything offered to me at work because I get paid practically nothing.
Nice.
And so I was like, I need to spend my fitness money. And like, what am I going to do? Well, I can't buy running shoes because they have all these things that like qualify and things that don't. And what I really need is like a really awesome sports bra and new running shoes. shoes because I love to run.
Right.
But I can't get those because they fall under the fitness apparel.
I hate running.
Oh, really?
I didn't think I'd run up as being if somebody's chasing me with an axe. I don't think I would.
We're not built for it.
Yeah.
I am so slow, but
I'll
I
fight.
love it.
Yeah,
it's so
it's that
fun
burst
to me.
energy more than
No, I totally love it's so like makes you feel good, and I get runner's high big time, and it's
I
fabulous.
get runners. We need to stop this anytime soon.
Yeah, but so I couldn't get shoes or a new sports bra, and I asked if I could do 5K entry fees, and they said no. It has to, like, if you took a running class, that would be okay. And I was like, well, I don't want to take a running class.
It has to be like a regimented in a gymnasium.
Yeah, it has to be like fitness clubs or classes or you could do stress management stuff. Like I could do like a meditation thing or whatever. So it's either fitness or stress management. And so I was just like looking for stuff for a long time, and then I was walking down Broadway near my house, and I saw the Seattle boxing studio. And I was like, oh, boxing, that'd be kind of cool. And so I looked it up, and excuse me, I'm coughing today because of my boxing class yesterday. But, so, like, I got these, for the amount of my fitness benefit, I got, like, 8 private training sessions and unlimited gym time and gloves and, like,
nice.
This whole package, because I could kind of drop a lot of money at one time, because it's being reimbursed to me, which is fabulous. And so I had my first private boxing lesson yesterday, and I'm not kidding. And I had been running to kind of, like, gear myself up to not be terrible. Like, our warm-up was jumping jacks for 5 minutes, and I, like, almost didn't make it through. I was like, he's like, go at your own pace, and I'm, like, doing it as slow as I can, and I'm like, I am so out of shape. It was, and then he basically, like, took me through, like, almost like a circuit training thing with, like, boxing drills in between things. And I was awkward and weird and slow and thought I was going to throw up and, like, so out of shape and terrible. But it was really fun. And so now at the end, he was like, you know what? You did great. Like, you absolutely have to come back next time. I'm going to be really mad at you if you stop. And I was like, I won't stop. And he's like, okay, because I feel like you, like, felt like you were going to die. I was like, that is true. And also, I will come back next time. But then, like, walking home, like, my hands were shaking.
You need a banana.
I know, I do. I was like, next time I need to, like, carb load a little bit.
Yeah, especially, like, if you can't, like, grab things. And,
oh, my gosh.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Is that what that is? Because I've had that before.
Yeah, potassium.
Because my hands were shaking, and I couldn't stop sweating, and I've been coughing ever since. And I went to QFC, which is across the street, on my way home, to get lunch. And ended up getting home, and I had, like, a Rice Krispie treat and an artichoke, and I was like, I don't even remember being at the store. Like, my brain turned off.
Yeah.
How much more random is that?
Oh, I totally thought I was going to throw up. And then I couldn't get my blood sugar back to a normal level. Like, it felt low the rest of the day. So I need to, like, read up on fitness
The first time
stuff.
that ever happened to me extremely was, my brother-in-law, I guess, we used to own a roofing company, and I was doing tear-offs for him one day, and that's, like, in the sun. Like,
that's
real
hard
heavy stuff.
work. Totally.
And I was just, trying to really go for it, and just way overworked myself. I drank a bunch of cold water, so it sparked it. But all my arms just started cramping up, my legs cramped up. And I couldn't do anything until I got home. I got in a tub, and it's like, called Tom, brother Tom actually understood what was happening. He's like, get potassium. So.
Totally, because Tom, our brother, has done, which Rick has too, a lot of training and, like,
we
weightlifting.
We both worked at GNC for a couple years.
Right.
So.
Totally.
Yeah.
So I need potassium. Should
Pretty
I do that
much.
before or after?
Or
both?
The other reason too is I work at UPS in the morning, which is like basically going and helping someone move for 5 hours every day. It's pretty grueling.
Yeah.
And in ways it's a little harder too, because there's not like it's hard work.
Yeah.
And when I started, I had to have those bananas. Otherwise, my arms would start cramping up or whatever coming home, and
Yeah.
So, but they helped. I
Okay.
usually would just eat them during break.
Oh,
but
okay.
as long as before or after, just
Yeah.
one or
I used
two.
to work at Cisco Foods, and I would wake up in the morning like that,
Huh.
I'd be all curled up.
Totally.
But it actually, I blew my shoulder out doing it, so
yeah.
I'm
Well,
better
and-
off for it. But
Yeah, my second lesson is tomorrow. So I was planning on getting some oatmeal and doing like breakfast of oatmeal, and like maybe I'll get some bananas and just bring some with me.
Yeah, or potassium pills, or
or I think they even have
take it
some
with
like
food.
drinks that have potassium. Take it with
Totally.
you. Okay.
Yeah. It absorbs a little easier. I think
Yeah.
it's mainly it's vitamin D that you really got to worry about, and it's
Okay.
in the rock form or whatever, that you really have to take it with food, otherwise it's going to run right through you.
Yeah.
I think your body can process other things pretty easily.
Yeah, because it was the craziest thing, and the weirdest thing too is today I'm a little bit stiff, but I was expecting to like be so sore I couldn't walk, and I'm actually like my muscle wise I'm okay. It's endurance, which is what he told me, he was like, if you're gonna box you need to be able to.
So he's not
like,
trying to put muscle on you, he's trying to make that muscle last longer.
I think so. So I did a lot of like kettlebell stuff and like medicine ball stuff, but with small weights.
Right. No, 'cause
and then like boxing drills and stuff.
Right. So now if you were bodybuilding, you'd be sore as heck the next day.
Right.
Because you're taking that muscle to failure rather than just
And-
trying to produce the performance of it.
and you're breaking it down a little bit.
Totally.
Yeah.
So it was cool. And like I did the thing where like he put a rubber band around my waist and was like sprint to that wall and then like just leaned back into it, and I'm like, which actually that was really fun. Like weird because you can't run fast, but you're like pulling.
It almost feels like a nightmare. You're trying to run away. I'm trying to get away.
And I'm the only lady at this gym, but all the guys were super nice.
Yeah.
Like when
for
we
sure.
were leaving,
You probably got a hero's welcome when
I'm
you walked
sure
into the gym, right?
there were a couple of dudes standing there. They're just like, "That was pretty cool. Like, you doing a private lesson? Like, what's up?" Like, it's a small gym.
Yeah.
It looks like Rocky's studio in a basement. Like,
Those are
it's
the best,
super
actually.
cool.
Those are the best.
Yeah, and they're all professional boxers that
They're all
train
flat
there.
noses.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Cool.
But
You got to pound a
I'm-
few raw eggs in the morning
I
too
know.
before you go.
But he just kept like, "We're gonna make you a monster. You're gonna be so strong." And I'm like, "Oh!" But I could barely. I'm telling you, I'm
got
looking
the
forward
good
to
kid.
the end result. Exactly. Oh,
Eat lightning and crap thunder.
There
Oh my
you go.
gosh.
Perfect.
But all I was learning was like the 1-2, and it's like coordination wise really challenging.
Did he go into the spin of the punch? Or you
A
twist
little
at
bit.
the end and you
Yeah.
punch with like the first two, so
Yeah.
you're not breaking your knuckles.
He
and all that
didn't
stuff,
get
or did
super
you wrap,
into
did
it.
You even wrap your hands?
Yeah, we wrapped,
Okay.
and I was in gloves, and we did the drills, but he didn't want me to hit anything hard yet, and so he'll probably get into it.
Yeah.
He just wanted me to get the twist,
Sure.
the pulling from the hip
it's from
thing.
the body for sure.
Yeah.
Everything. It starts from your feet, actually.
Totally, yeah, and the turning of the foot for the right.
Yeah. Same thing with I disc golf a lot too.
Yeah.
It all starts from your feet.
Oh man, a guy at work does that stuff.
It's the best, man.
Totally.
It's such an awesome endeavor.
It is really
I just
fun.
look at it as another reason to go out and smoke weed.
Do you need any more reason, really? But anyway.
I know that's whenever people are like,
Because you
"Let's
smell
go."
it when you're out
I
there.
know.
I've been by those. I'm like,
Totally.
yeah, somebody's out here dog golfing.
People always try to sell me on going to a baseball game by saying it's just an excuse to drink beer, and I go, yeah, I don't need one. I
Yeah.
can do that at home without having to be subjected to a baseball game.
But
Actually, it is kind of neat when you go with a bunch of people that don't give a crap about baseball.
Yeah,
Just
that-
going to a big
yeah.
party
they're doing it because
with
it's
their-
ironic.
Almost,
Yeah,
but
it's just like
otherwise,
a
but otherwise,
venue for
baseball
having
I can
fun.
take or leave
Oh
too.
man, I
I
can't.
mean, no offense to any baseball fans out there. I'm
Right.
sure
Yeah.
People love it, and
I
I'm not
enjoy
one
I
of those
enjoy
people.
baseball as much as I enjoy watching golf, and I don't
There you
enjoy
go.
watching golf.
No,
Totally.
disc golf actually I will watch.
Disc golf is fun.
but that's just because I engage in
It's
it. and
different.
Yeah.
It's different.
At
I
least
used
with disc golf, you can see the thing that's traveling. With golf, I feel like all you see is a swing and then
and then you
nothing.
watch the camera following something
Right.
through the sky. It's like, do you see it? I don't see it. Where is it?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Bounce, bounce, bounce.
Yeah.
I used to take a spinning class. I don't know if you know what
Oh,
spinning
yeah,
is.
like
Yeah, we're
bicycling.
but
Oh,
with
man.
structure.
Yeah, it took me a minute when I first started riding it. It's because they want you to get up off the seat or
Oh,
the out
yeah.
of the saddle they call it, and it doesn't feel natural. because
No.
bicycles move.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like your body's getting whipped all over the place because it's wanting the bicycle to move. But it took. I did it for like 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was actually in really good shape because of it. I'm not in such good shape anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I am. It's
Not
round.
terrible.
My shape is round.
Yeah, that's a
so
good-
it is a good shape.
I know. And that's the thing too that like I didn't get into with my trainer because he was like, "You're gonna slim down," and I was like, "I'm cool with the size I am. I just want to be like strong and have lots of endurance because like that's awesome. And I'm sure I'll lose some weight, but like that's not my primary goal, you know? Because really, like if I'm, running at the weight I am now, I'm carrying weight with me, and
sure.
like my muscles will get really strong, and like because I think you can be healthy at any weight. You know?
Yeah, it's about your cardiovascular system.
Totally. Like eating
the
good
whole package,
foods.
really, too.
Yeah. Totally. So I don't worry about like slimming down so much, but I just want to like be like a monster.
I do kind of miss the spinning class though. It was kind of neat.
You should do it.
Well, it depends on the instructor because I had a really good instructor, and it made it exciting.
Yeah,
and then the instructors changed. It was like, man, I don't like you so much. I like the other one.
Sort of like, have you ever played Dungeons and Dragons?
Oh, a long
How
time
nerdy
ago.
are we here?
I have played
a
D&D.
good dungeon master will make or break a dungeon master
It's
session.
true.
So, but anyway, I don't know why my mind went there. But
And I always base my I started Dungeons and Dragons, but I'm also the type of person if it involves like way too much of my time,
yeah.
I
It will. Any good
Totally.
game will, yeah.
I used to be a gamer.
Oh, right.
But this is way back before it was internet, or before there's the consoles before it was before
What
they got
games
the.
were you playing?
Oh, I
Yeah,
played
I
Resident
mean,
Evil
'Cause
2.
Okay.
I'm as old as Pong.
Yeah.
That's my big.
Yeah. Me
And
too.
we've had computers since computers were not,
Yeah,
like,
that's
we were
the
the
Commodore
only
64s
ones with the
and-
Commodore 64.
I actually had a lot of friends that had some.
Oh,
We
did
didn't.
you?
We didn't have. We didn't
Like
have a
the
computer.
whole
We had. We,
Oh, yeah,
we had all the
that's true.
console games. We had that. We started off with the Atari. Then we went up to the.
My wife has an Atari 6400 with a bunch of games.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh, that's
Have you
awesome.
seen the Atari? What was it? This is called a 2020 or something like that. I think it's a.
They had the 6400.
It's
They
no.
have
It's a, it
different
looks.
games.
It looks like a cassette
Wait,
player.
128.
It looks like a cassette player.
Oh, yeah, Texas Instruments.
It's an Atari.
wait.
I seen it. It was in the vintage
Whoa.
game store
Interesting.
out in when we had the car
It's
show.
like one of the first hard drives, if you will, sort of thing.
I think it was running on DAT.
Right.
It looks
okay.
like. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
I'm not.
Crazy.
I'm just going on because there was a bunch of Ataris there. I'm assuming it was an
Interesting,
Atari,
yeah.
so I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna make sure it's because I'll reference it. I'll put it on the
Sure,
on
sure.
the Facebook page and see. See, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Then we went to Nintendo, and my brother's still
Oh,
a
yeah.
Nintendo freak. He loves Nintendo.
I
He
love
won't use-
Nintendo also.
He won't go on any other.
I'm a classic Mario kind of person. Like, I could play like Super Mario World
Right.
over and over and over and
Sure,
over
sure.
again, and I'm
Yeah.
That's
so
got good
okay with
mileage
it.
to it.
you can, but you can get that in pretty much any console now because they
Yeah,
got
you can.
emulators now.
Totally.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But yeah, and then we got when I moved out of my house on my own, I got a Sega Genesis.
Nice.
And then,
I love
then
the
they
old
32X, the 32X
Sonic
attachment,
Hedgehog.
Yeah.
which was a gimmick. I know it was, and I got it anyway.
I had a TurboGrafx 16.
Oh, was that the CD on
It
it?
came out about the same time as Sega and
Okay.
Genesis and all those, but
Oh,
it was
okay.
like the third sort of, it had that I don't know what bit graphics they were at the time, but it was
It was
more
cutting
than-
edge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
64-bit or whatever.
totally.
No, that's
That was
Then I got the
wasn't that
PlayStation, the first PlayStation, and it was to the
Some
point
more
where
games.
I would get up early in the morning and I'd play to 2 to 3 hours before work, and then I would come home and play until like 11:30 at night, and then go to bed
Nice.
and do it all over again. And it was like daily basis, and I was like, I wasted the entire summer. I would never seen the sun.
I know. Yeah.
I like,
Scott's all about the outdoor activities now.
not necessarily. I just
No, you are. It's
I
true,
like
you
people.
I know.
people are my
Sure.
I'm
favorite.
playing
Cool, right
Skyrim right now, and
Ooh, I've
my
heard good
life
things.
is it's fun. Actually, Curtis, my nephew, our nephew.
That's a flying game, right?
No. You're thinking of something different.
It's
Skyrim is
Oh,
a role playing
Skyrim,
where
right,
you
right,
fight
right.
dragons.
It's a
and stuff.
Dragon
Yep,
Age
yep.
game.
But
right?
our
Gotcha,
nephew
gotcha,
showed
okay.
it to me last time I was in the Tri-Cities, and I was like, oh, that looks really fun.
Yeah.
And I got the PC version, and I play a lot.
Nice.
You can put mods on that too.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
I'm still I love gaming, but I'm so inept at it that it takes me a really long time, which is great for me because I don't spend a lot of money on games because I get one game, play it for 6 months instead of like burning through it really fast. I feel like I could play Skyrim for 5 years because I've been playing it. I think it gives you a little like game time, and I'm up to like 49 hours, and I've had it for about 3 weeks.
Wow.
I need to get some friends.
Keegan played Skyrim on the Xbox 360,
nice.
and he's the gamer in the family right now, and he is definitely
Keegan's his teenage son.
Yeah, he's 13.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, right on. Wow.
Yeah, he's definitely, and he loves watching YouTube, so he's totally abreast of everything that comes out, and he's like tells me
Has he talked about Grand Theft Auto 5 yet?
Oh,
as
that looks insane.
I love Grand Theft Auto.
He's saving up for it.
Oh
That's
my gosh!
Like, have you seen any of the ads for that thing?
Yeah, it looks.
You can do like whatever the heck you can think of. It's probably in that game.
Totally. And those games, like when I got Vice City, was the first Grand Theft Auto I got, and I played it for probably a year because there's so much you can do, and I just think it's so
I've
fun.
saved that game, and if I ever get into playing Grand Theft Auto, I'm going to start with the Miami Vice one or whatever the
Vice
earlier
City.
Vice City
Yeah,
ones.
it's a good one.
And not jump to the end ones because I have wanted to play that game ever since that came out. I just have never gotten around to it.
And Vice City, I think, well, the new one will probably be much better, but it's fun because it's period. Like it's,
for sure.
Like the music is cool, and you're out with like 70s
it's
pimps.
This nostalgia of the
it's
experience.
really fun game.
Yeah, it's pretty adult too. It's
Oh,
an
yeah.
adult type.
Sure.
And,
Well, it's not even as adult as like Saints Row, where one of your weapons is a giant dildo on a stick that you thwack people with,
dildo bat.
and it like
Spoiler
explodes
alert there,
their
come on.
head. Oh, I'm sorry.
Just teasing.
Yeah, it's the dildo bat.
She didn't say what color it was.
Okay.
Purple, I think.
It's
yeah.
purple.
Spoilers.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that game is hilarious. Which actually I
That-
had my best Thanksgiving ever playing that game, which was my friend Ryan. I went over to his house, and my idea was pie and video games, and so I brought like a pumpkin pie, and I got there, and he was like, "Oh, you meant pie," and I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Well, I got a bunch of pizza."
Nice.
He thought,
Brian Regan does a bit about that.
"Really?
Yeah,
About
he's
pizza
like
for
where he
Thanksgiving?"
moved to New York. He's
I
like,
remember
everybody's
that.
like, hey, let's go get a pie. Yes, pie. What kind of pie do you want? I don't know, pumpkin. And
They're
they're
like, "What?"
Yeah.
Because they were talking pizza.
Right,
I remember
right,
that.
right.
I love Brian Regan.
yeah.
Oh, totally. So then we had all this pizza and a pumpkin pie, and we started playing Saints Row at like 9 a.m. and drinking booze. And by the time his girlfriend got home from work at like 3:30, we were totally drunk.
Smashed.
And we ended up playing Saints Row for like 12 hours, and we ate all the pizza and all the pie, and like drank like 5 bottles of champagne. It was so fun.
That's one thing I like about drinking is the drunk munchies. I do like the drunk munchies.
Yeah, those are shame-inducing sometimes.
It's usually 3 in the morning at Sherry's. And,
Like, what has carbs in it that I can put in my face right now?
Though, before we get off video games,
yeah.
Team Fortress 2,
I've never
I've
played
spent probably hundreds of hours playing easily.
What's Team Fortress?
Okay, so Doom, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I like
Doom was
Doom.
like one of the first multiplayer. And I remember at work, it was like one of those first computer games where, hey, let's get a bunch of parallel cables and put a bunch of computers together
Do like
and all
a
play at
LAN
once kind
party.
of thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, that turned into Quake, which Quake, I think it was 3. When Quake 3 came out, they had the Team Fortress mod, which was where they introduced where you could have different characters that do different things, and they had like a capture the flag sort of element that they added to it, where it was more let's sort of develop this more around teams that play against each other rather than just let's kill the monsters type of thing.
Right on.
And so ever since then, I've been kind of with that, because that then turned into like Counter-Strike and then Counter-Strike 2. That's kind of where Steam sort of started as well.
Yeah. I use Steam. That's where
yeah.
I got Skyrim. On
It's
sale for like $20.
But at any rate, so they've gotten, so Team Fortress 2 is about as far as they've progressed, sort of the idea. And it's like this kind of a cartoony, but I really like the style of it. It's all about hats now, and you can buy different hats that do.
My son watches hours and hours of YouTube video
Oh yeah,
on that.
yeah.
crazy.
It's funny.
It's a great game.
It glitches out quite a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, does it?
Well,
That's part
it's
of
buggy,
it.
but it's free.
Yeah.
It's
part of the
free
charm.
to play.
That's cool.
So, yeah.
Ooh, I should try. I like
Oh,
free.
yeah. So if you get on, let me know.
Yeah, I will.
We'll get in a game together.
Cool. As soon as I can only emotionally handle one game at a time,
Sure,
but when I'm
sure.
done with Skyrim or like
You know-
frustrated with it and have
Yeah.
maxed out my ability, then
But it's one of those
I'll
games
do
that you
that
can
next.
just pop in, play for a little while, and get out.
Right on.
Because it's sort of the same thing over like
Oh,
fighting
okay.
games are that way for me too. It's like
Yeah.
I love fighting games like Soul Calibur and those kinds of things because
I
you can
love
just pop
Soul
in, play a little bit, and
Because
get out.
it becomes
'cause you're-
repetitive, yeah.
Yeah.
totally.
You just get a little fix and you're done, as opposed to like the RPGs or the ones where
Yeah.
you've really got to just.
Oh, totally. And that's Skyrim is like half of it. You're not even doing anything. You're just listening to plot.
Okay.
And
right.
because it kind of matters,
Sure.
you know.
Oh, yeah.
But I shout obscenities at certain characters because I'm like, I hate you.
Is that one of those
You need
where
to die.
it's
And
more
I'm-
like a choose
I
your
get
own
really-
story as well? So
It's
A little
as
bit,
you
yeah.
kind of like
respond to the story,
role-playing
the
game.
story will sort of change to
Yeah,
what you're
because
doing
you can
too.
join either like
Okay, neat,
you can
neat.
either
I
like
like that
become a
concept.
spy or you can join this brotherhood
Cool,
or
yeah.
and like it's pretty cool.
You can join, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard the name, but
yeah.
it's just what it actually was didn't really.
Yeah, I didn't know until Curtis showed me. And then
And
I
my
was like,
neighbor
oh,
actually
this
worked
is
for
badass.
343 Industries. Yeah, so when
Oh, yeah.
the new Halo was coming out, my son was like, every time he'd see him out on the lawn, hey Rob, what? Can you tell me what's going on? What?
Yeah.
And he'd start asking him questions. I heard this. I heard that. And is this true? And he's like,
Yeah.
but Rob was like, he was very forthcoming with information that he already knew.
Oh,
so
totally.
he would basically say, well, okay, I can't tell you this, but what you just said about this and this and this, yes, that's true. And so because
Video game
he was-
journalism.
Totally.
well, because he knew if he had to be really because they're under
Yeah.
they're under a gag order,
Oh,
they're
for
not supposed to
sure.
say. But he did give them really cool posters though.
Oh, that's
They
cool.
were the only ones, and this is one thing that's about collectibles, is that when the rarer they are, when they're not circulated, that's where the value lies. And he got a couple. They had all these inter-office promotions. And so he gave those posters
Right
to my
on.
son. So there's like
That's
only
nice.
maybe like there's maybe only like 12 of those one posters. So he's got these promotion posters that nobody else
really
has,
cool.
other than people that work for 343, and they just threw most of them away. It's like so that made
Yeah.
them even more rare. And it's pretty cool
Totally.
stuff.
That is really cool.
He's got the Halo 4 promotion poster with was a Master Chief on the
Yeah.
post doing some action pose or just like
That's funny.
jumping through some fire or something.
I've never played Halo.
Yeah.
One day I will, but I never have owned
I'm
the systems.
too poor to
I
really get into
know.
video games too much that aren't free.
I
So
know.
it's
Yeah,
just
me
like,
too.
I
I
want
have-
to eat and have clothes.
I
think
know.
so, yeah.
That's why I play the old ones, like the ones that are a little out of style.
Pawn shops.
There you go.
Pawn shop's the
Nice.
best
Oh,
way to
that's
go.
true.
But then
Yeah.
times the other side of that coin then too.
Yeah.
Through that. Well, hey, we're about out of time.
Yeah, speaking of where to go.
Thanks for coming in,
Oh,
Rick.
this
I
is
hope you had a
awesome.
good time.
I wish we could go another hour.
We can.
Okay.
We'll have to stop
Let's
this one
hit
and
pause,
start a new
another one.
Totally.
We would love to go another hour, but it
it's
seems
all
to be that's the magic.
Sure.
That's the magic number. Of people.
Everything's
Yes.
just crap after that, huh?
I know.
No, it's where the people tune out. It's like,
Yeah.
is it over
right,
yet?
right,
How
right.
much longer are they
Jeez.
going to go
Yeah.
on and on and on about
Okay.
crap?
Forever.
Okay.
Cool. Well, hey, for the listening audience, thanks for listening. Please tell a friend. Of course, you can find us on Facebook. We are from the coffee shop. I'm Peggy Hurson. This is Scott Clark. Rick Entrop has been here
Yeah,
with
and
us.
let me just say, if
Oh,
you're
yeah.
thinking about doing the podcast, it's pretty fun. You should hop on.
Totally,
Yeah.
Rick.
Highly recommend it. And you guys need to get on YouTube.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're going to
Okay.
get on YouTube. I
All right.
promise. Why don't you give out the name of your website?
Oh, sure. Yeah, it's my name, rickentrop.com. It's sort of a portfolio site. I haven't really got into DeviantArt or any of those. It's just, I'm not really selling anything or, doing anything much more than just promoting myself, I guess, with it. But I do have some stuff posted on CoralFlow, CorofLot or something. It's an artist
Cool.
kind of portfolio
Is it linked to your website?
Yeah, there's a link
Okay.
on
Cool.
my website.
And I'll throw the link up on our Facebook page too.
Oh, cool.
So,
Thanks.
yeah,
Right on.
so if you're
If you're just
interested-
interested to see what my artwork is
Totally.
kind of
And-
then...
And then again, you go to the Facebook page. Please make comments, post pictures, make corrections of stuff that we said wrong. We hear it. Now,
I know.
Yeah, we don't. I don't see a
Positive-
laptop here to double check your guys'.
No, and that's the
I've
beauty of it.
decided
Yeah.
not to fact check things.
There we
we'll
go.
just let
Right
our
on.
errors live forever.
Okay, well,
And please tell a friend. Find us on SoundCloud. And, thanks for listening. This has been From the Coffee Shop. Huzzah!